Hi, what's up, guys? So today we are going to be learning. Well, you've been learning this all week, but some addition and subtraction strategies. I'm going to talk a little bit about the vocabulary of when you see things in word problems, especially when you're working with data tables and you're asked certain questions, what we're looking for, and just kind of go over in general some problem solving strategies of how do we answer questions when there's some missing information in a data table, or if there's missing information or kind of a hidden question in a word problem. So we're going to go over a couple different things in this video. So sit tight and get a piece of paper out and do some work with me, and let's have fun. All right, so you're looking at a table here on the left side of the screen. It's the number of students in each grade level. And one thing I want to point out is, first of all, this is actually a table that you were given, I believe, on either Monday or Tuesday as part of your apply slide. So this will be nice for those of you who actually followed directions and did those slides, because it's kind of a review of how to actually solve that problem. When you were asked if the fourth grade has a total of 2,271 students, how many of those students are girls? That question, I think, was a little bit challenging for some of you. So that's one that we're going to go over right now. So again, it's always helpful to watch these videos so that you can get a better understanding of what I'm asking you to do. So first and foremost, I just want to talk about this again, but the word addition. Let's talk about what are some words that correlate with the word addition. So if we have the word addition, we see the word addition, or what adding means, obviously, is this symbol right here. Ooh, pencils not being super stellar for me right now. See if I can get another one out real quick for you guys. I apologize. Little real world moment here for you, not just a perfect online video. All right, so I got a new pencil. Go with the classic pencil type. All right, so some words that associate with addition are words like total. That's the obvious one. The word sum. The word sum is the answer to an addition problem. So if I say, what is the sum? That's what I'm talking about. It's the answer. You might see the word, let's see, how many. Now, how many goes with a couple different things. So how many all together would be something we'd look for. Or you'd have to kind of use the context clues for how many, because we remember from the other day, subtraction also uses how many, but it uses it how many more or how many less. Whereas addition, we generally see how many either by itself or with the word all together. So that's a little info there for you. Another word we might see addition is added, of course, or we might say how much. Again, that's almost a context though, because if you said how much more or how much less, that's subtraction. If we just say how much, that's generally addition. Greatest amount. Well, that's not true either though. Well, great total, greatest amount with the word total. Okay, so if you say what is the greatest amount if you were to total all the students. Okay, so addition kind of goes with some of those words. You probably can think of some other ones as well, but those are the few that I'm thinking of right now. And then we went over this the other day, but I'm going to go over it again. Some subtraction words. Some words that we might see that go with subtraction. Definitely the how many more, how many less. So this is subtraction. So let me separate those two. How many less? This is essentially what we're doing when we are giving the difference. Okay, subtraction is the same as the difference. The difference is actually usually the answer. Like the sum is for addition, that's what difference is for subtraction. We might see something like if the total is this, is whatever, then what is the missing info. Okay, so subtraction, if you're given the total and they ask for something, they might not say missing information, but they might say, like, if the total is this, how many of those students are this? That's subtraction. Okay, that means that you're going to have to do some subtraction in there. You might have to do some addition as well, but you're also going to have to do some subtraction. All right, we might see words like getting rid of, right? Getting rid of. You're spending money. Generally, that has to do with it. That kind of goes with addition too, though. Like, how much did they spend? Did they spend? Generally has to do with addition because you're adding up how much they spent. How much is left? So left over is generally subtraction. How much is left over? You have to subtract to get away. Taking away, that's a big one. When you were in your younger grades, you probably even maybe called that symbol the takeaway symbol. My son, that's what they call it, is the tape. They don't even say minus, they say takeaway. You're taking something out of, so on and so forth. Okay. So those are some addition and subtraction basics, or words that you might associate with adding and subtracting. So now let's get on to it and do some work here. So if we're looking at that graph, if we're looking at that graph, then we can see that there's a whole bunch of information. So what you have to do as a mathematician here is just break it down by question by question. So let's just look at number one. How many students are in the third grade? So I know I'm going to use just this row, here of the third grade, right? The third grade. Come on, pin. The third grade. The pin's not wanting to work for me here. Not sure why. That's okay. All right, so the third grade is these two right here. So we are going to just simply, and it says how many students are in. So we're not saying what is the difference between the boys and the girls. We're not saying how many more students are there in this grade than this grade. We're just saying how many. So that's where that addition, that how many, when we just see the word how many by itself, that's generally addition. So just think about it logically too. I mean, it's asking how many kids are in the third grade. Well, there's 1,000, and I like to put the bigger numbers first. So there's 1,129 girls in the third grade, and there's 997 boys in the third grade. So they clearly want to know how many kids are in the third grade altogether. So 9 plus 7 is 16. Carry our group of 10. 2 plus 9 is 11. Plus one more is, sorry, not 11, 9, 10. Yeah, 11. Plus one more is 12. Carry our group of 10. 1 plus 9 is 10, plus 1 more is 11. Carry a group of 10. I like to put my comma right away after I have 1, 2, 3 digits. 1 plus 1 is 2. Therefore, I know there are 2,126 third graders. Notice I'm doing this on a piece of paper because doing this digitally or in my head is ridiculous. So don't do that. Don't try to use a drawing tool or anything like that. It doesn't help unless you have like a stylus and a tablet. That's not going to work out for you. So that's our answer to question number one. That one was pretty easy in my opinion. You just have to know to use that source. All right, let's go to number 2 here. How many more students are in the second grade than in the fifth grade? So looking at our vocabulary here, how many more? How many more? There it is. That goes with subtraction. Anytime you're asked how many more, that means it's subtraction. So how many more students are in the second grade than the fifth grade? Here's the problem with number 2, though. It doesn't tell you how many students are in the second grade in the graph. It doesn't tell you how many students are totaled in the fifth grade in the graph. It tells you how many boys and how many girls there are. So before you can do the subtraction of figuring out the difference between the two, you have to actually add up the boys and the girls just like you did for third grade. I'll give you a little hint too. It's actually really helpful if you go ahead and do all your rows ahead of time. And that way, when you answer questions, you'll be one step ahead. So I'm going to go ahead and add the second graders because I need to know how many second graders are there total and how many fifth graders are there total before I can decide what the difference between the two grade levels are. So let's do that first. The second grade is 1,136 girls and then 1,125 boys. I'm going to add those up. 6 plus 5 is 11. Carry my group of 10. 3 plus 2 is 5 plus 1 is 6. 1 plus 1 is 2. Put my comma down because I have 1, 2, 3 digits. 1 plus 1 is 2. So therefore, I know there's 2,261 second graders. Now I got to do fifth graders. I think a big part of this, guys, is just you taking your time, making sure that you record the numbers properly, line your numbers up properly, okay, and make sure you're using pencil, paper, or dry erase board and marker to do the work. All right, so 6 plus 5 is 11 plus a group of 10. 1 plus 1 is 2 plus 2 more is 4. 0 plus 9 is 9. Put my comma because I have 1, 2, 3 digits, and then a 1 in the thousands place. Now, I have my total for fifth graders. Now, the question, though, is not how many second graders are there and how many fifth graders are there. I don't know how many people try to add all those numbers up. That's asking how many more students are here than here. When you're asked how many more, that is a subtraction problem. So now I have to take these two numbers and I have to find the difference. Now, did this take me a few steps? Is it taking me more than a few minutes to do? Yes. Is that a big deal? No, because this is what you do to be able to learn and get better at this stuff. 1 minus 1 is 0. 6 minus 4 is 2. 2 minus 9 I can't do, so I have to borrow a group of 10 from next door. So it goes down by 1, and this guy gets a group of 10 in front of it, so it becomes a 12. 12 minus 9 is 3. And 1 minus 1 is nothing, so therefore I do not need that comma. It's just automatic. I do it all the time. And I know the difference between second graders and third graders. So, or not third graders, fifth graders. So there are 320 more second graders, right? So that's the difference between the two. All right, so that's how you do that problem. Those are some strategies to think about when you're asked how many more are in this than this, but you aren't given the total. You have to total those out first and then find the difference. Okay, all right, let's do number 3 and then, yeah, number 4, and then we'll be moving on our way. All right, so number 3, the one that we did the other day for your apply assignment. So you can go back even and look at what answer you put down, and you could pause the video, go back and look what answer you got, and then come back to the video that I'm doing right now, and then check and see if you were right. And because I haven't graded those yet, at least not most of them. So that's an opportunity for you to kind of make a change. All right, so number 3, if the fourth grader has a total of 2,271 students, how many of those students are girls? So this would probably be one of the more challenging ones, but it really shouldn't be. So this kind of goes back to what we talked about in even the other 2 problems. So just go back and read it again. If fourth grade has a total, so they're giving us the total. It's kind of like when you guys do those missing information boxes and you're given some information but not all of it. It's the same thing. So you're given the total, and they want to know how many of those students are girls. Well, how many of those students in fourth grade are girls? And you'll look at the chart and you see how there's a dotted line through the girls spot because we don't know. But we do know how many boys there are. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the boys out of the total number. And the reason for that is if you were to go back and even think about these other problems, when we were finding the total for second grade, we added the girls and the boys. So this was the girls, this was the boys, right? And then this was the total. So in order to find the total, we had to add the 2. Well, in this case, you're given the total and you're given the boys, but you still need to find the girls. So when you're given the total, it's a missing information problem. So you're going to do subtraction. So that's a little hint. When you're given the total of something and you're asked to figure out how many of that is a particular thing. So how many of those are girls? How many of those are red? How many of those are blue out of the total? That means you're going to take the total and you're going to subtract whatever information you already have. So then this should be pretty easy from here. We can't do 1 minus 8, so it borrows a group of 10 and becomes an 11. And that group of 10 comes from the 6, so he goes down by 1. 11 minus 8. I like to count backwards because sometimes I get a little confused when I'm doing 8. So I know 8, 9, 10, 11. So therefore I know 11 minus 8 is 3. 6 minus 2 is 4. I didn't have to borrow because I could do this, so the 2 stayed the same. 2 minus 1 is 1. I put my comma because 1, 2, 3 digits, and then 2 minus 1 is 1. So I know that there are 1,143 girls in 4th grade. Notice I'm labeling. That's important to do as well. So again, you're given a total. You're asked to find how many of them are a certain thing. That's subtraction. You take the total, you subtract whatever it is you have the information of. Sometimes that entails you adding whatever information you have up and then subtracting it from the total to find whatever's missing. So that might be the case sometimes as well. All right, let's do this last one together. So number 4. So I hope that you're doing these with me. You can even, once I pose the question, you could pause the video, try it on your own. I actually would really like you to do that for number 4. So right now, pause the video, go ahead and try number 4, and then restart the video once you're done to check and see if you have the same answer as me. All right, which grade has the greatest amount of total students? Well, guess what we're going to have to do, guys? We are going to have to total out each grade level. But what's awesome is we've already done that when we asked the questions in question number 1, question number 2, and question number 3. So we know that the total for 2nd graders was what? So we need to just simply go back and look at our total from question number 2. So the total of 2nd graders was 2,261. So I'm just going to write that down because I want to be able to compare my numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down. So 2nd grade was this. All right, 3rd grade's total was the first question that was asked. So I'm going to go back and look. 2,126. So I already know that one's out, but that's okay. We're going to write them all down first and then make the determination of which one is the greatest. So we know our 4th grade one because they actually gave us the total in number 3. It says the 4th grade total is 2,271. So be careful not to take what you just figured out because that's just how many girls there are. They actually gave us in question number 3 how many 4th graders there were. And then the 5th grade, I believe, was in question number 2. So we go back to that one. 1,941. 1,941 4th graders. So now, or 5th graders, sorry. So now all I have to do is decide which number is the greatest. So I'm going to look at the thousands place first. So there's a 2 here, a 2 here, a 2 here, and a 1 here. So this one's out, right? Then we look at the hundreds place. 2 here, 1 here. Whoop, that one's out. 2 here. Then we look at the tens place. A 6 here and a 7 here. 7 wins. So, which grade? It's not asking what the number is, guys. This is the other part you got to listen to. Some of you would put the number 2,271 and then you'll get it wrong. It says which grade. And you got to look at what it's asking about. It's asking about the grade. So then the answer for question number 4 would be the 4th grade has the greatest amount of students. So it's asking about the grade level, and you want to make sure that you're very clear with how to do that. Well, thanks for working with me, guys, and I hope that that helped. And thank you to those of you who listened and you stopped the video whenever you were posed the question, tried it out on your own, and then looked to see if you were correct. And that is a lot more helpful. So hopefully this helped with some of the vocabulary and some of the strategies of how to work out when you're trying to figure out missing information. Thanks for listening all the way in. Take your time on that assessment today and have an awesome day.